New season, same question. Is Chicago going to win this thing again? New season, new question. How are the Bulls going to do with Michael Jordan's wingman, Scottie Pippen, grounded for the start of the season? For the answers, there's only one place to go for Brian Burwell. That's the bowling alley.
After a great bit of investigative journalism, we have finally discovered the secret to the Bulls' championship success. Before they go to work with this ball, they play with this one. Just like on the court, the Bulls are knocking them all down. Hey, it's got to be the shoes.
Hey, I can't do it unless the camera is.
The Chicago Bulls are used to bowling over the competition on the way to their 5 NBA titles, but the drive for number 6 may be the toughest yet.
What time is it? Big time.
This year is going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle for us out there.
We're not the same team, and we know that. The last 2 years we've felt invincible, and we showed it. We hardly ever lost, and I have a feeling this year is going to be different. We're not going to win so many games. It's going to be a bit of a grind.
The biggest challenge of all is starting the season without Scottie Pippen as he recovers from foot surgery that is supposed to keep him out until January.
Sure, we're going to miss him the first 3 months, but I'd rather for him to do it now than to come April, May, and June, and Scottie Pippen can't play.
What will you guys miss the most about Scottie's absence?
Everything. I mean, you could point to any area of the game, and we'll miss him desperately. Rebounding, defense, scoring, ball handling, leadership. We'll miss him in every department.
You can't just throw Tony Kukoc in there and say beat Scottie Pippen, or bring Scotty Burrell here and tell him to replace Scottie Pippen. That doesn't happen. Collectively, we have to find individuals on given nights to expand their roles to cover for that loss.
Our team has been built around the fact that, we have this 1-2 punch. The rest of the players are real good complementary players. We're going to have people do things they haven't been capable of doing in a while.
So now Jackson is in search of that delicate balance to winning, replacing Pippen's scoring in the short term without going back to the old days of Michael and the Jordanaires.
The tendency is that if Michael tries to take over a team right now without a scorer like Scottie, he can do as much damage as good. It become a team that might be reminiscent of his early era in the NBA, where it's real tough to do anything else but just give Michael the ball and get out of the way because he's going to go hell-bent for leather. We have to watch that doesn't get to be, something that has to happen just so that we win.
We all know that this is Jackson's last year in Chicago, and Jordan has made it very clear that if Phil leaves, he's leaving too. Yes, we have been teased a lot about retirements and such from these Bulls, but this time there's a sense that this really is it.
This is the last ride on the train, baby. You better enjoy it now.
We just try to enjoy the moment that we're going to be together, maybe the last time, and use that as motivation once we step on the basketball court.
In case you were wondering, Brian Burwell owns those bowling shoes, by the way. Replacing Scottie Pippen, it's going to be up to Kukoc, Buechler, and Burrell. You see what they combined for last year, the various numbers Pippen compared to the guys who are going to try to take his place. Let us bring in the 13-year NBA veteran who honed his skills on Chicago's playgrounds, Doc Rivers. And Doc, the amazing thing to me about the Bulls championship run is that they remain motivated. There's no slacking off in that department. How do they do that?
Well, I think they stay motivated because of number 23. I keep hearing this talk that the Bulls are not going to win it this year, and I missed the memo that Michael Jordan had retired, because if he hasn't, they'll be back, and they'll be right in the thick of things. I think this is another challenge for Michael Jordan. He wants to prove now not only are they going to win it for the 6th time, that this is one of the greatest teams in NBA history, but he can lead this team by himself if need be.
But for those who were saying maybe they're vulnerable, and I bring in Cheryl and Reggie here in this conversation too, that maybe during the playoffs there were a few chinks in the armor. Are there teams going into this season thinking we can play with those guys?
Well, what's interesting, I spoke to Phil Jackson earlier today, and he's basically anticipated that the Bulls will get off to a slow start, but he really anticipates them gaining some ground in January. But he says, look, we're not worried about best record or even finishing at the top of the East. Their main concern is trying to get healthy down the stretch and try to defend their title.
How about, Doc, the minutes for Michael Jordan? Will Phil Phil play him more because he needs that kind of production from him, or do you keep playing Michael the same minutes?
Well, it's easy to say that you will not do that, but I guarantee you if it's a one-point game and there's 10 minutes left in the game and Michael's on the court, you can't take him out, so you leave him in. He will probably play more minutes early in the season. Now, to counteract that, later in the season when Scotty gets back, maybe he can rest him a little bit. Michael Jordan does not need rest. He doesn't like rest. He's a tireless player. He wants the minutes. Whether he can handle it or not remains to be seen.
Thank you, Doc. We'll talk to you in a few hours out there at the Great Western Forum for Game 2 of our doubleheader.